Do you think they'll like it? What do you think?
I liked it better below your shirt because it was just this fucking glowing ass Terminator robot, right? It looked like a fucking AI.
I hope they can hear you. Hello and welcome. We have a slightly different video than usual today. I just got done watching a video from DevWithZachary. Pretty cool video. He took a Dell Dimension 4600 and put modern Linux on it. Highly recommend it. I'm going to put the link down in the description below. I do have one minor nitpick with the video though, and it's very, very early on. Really cool build. Has a Pentium 4 at 2.66 gigahertz. I believe he's overclocked it. 2 gigs of RAM, and the piece de resistance, an HD 3650 AGP. Very, very uncommon graphics card. Really rare. Really hard to get your hands on. Just expensive. Very cool build. And that's kind of the only reason he got modern Linux working on it, was because it still supports the HD 3650. He gets hardware acceleration on the desktop. Super cool. However, he did say one thing. He said that it was a very good example of a realistic computer at the time. It's not. The Dell Dimension 4600 came out in 2003, which was roughly the same time as the ATI 9000 series and the NVIDIA FX 5000 series. In fact, there was still, like, the GeForce 4 series was on sale. An average computer at the time, a reasonable, realistic PC, would have had, like, if you're going for gaming, maybe an FX 5600, 5700, or like an ATI 9600. And I hate to break it to you, but the HD 3650 is like 1,200% faster than the FX 5600. Cool build, but not a realistic build for 2003. So, let's build one. I wanted to build an identical PC, a Dell Dimension 4600, but unfortunately, I've got a 2350, and it caught on fire. Look at that. So I can't really use that. So I figured, well, I can just swap the motherboard. I've got this Dell motherboard. Doesn't have AGP, so I can't use that. This one is much more accurate, but not only is it slightly larger than the case, so it won't work, but it also has a bunch of bad capacitors, and it's missing the chipset cooler for some reason. Not really sure why. Finally, I did have this one. It's not the same motherboard, and it's also too big for the chassis, but it is at least the correct chipset. But again, it's too big, won't fit in the chassis, and I can't put this in another PC because it's not ATX. I can't use it. So, I have this. This is an ASUS motherboard with the exact same chipset, exact same capabilities as the Dell Dimension. It supports the same RAM, supports the same CPU. In fact, this CPU that's in here, a Pentium 4 2.8 gigahertz, yes, slightly faster, but we're not going to cry over 100 megahertz, came out of this motherboard right here. So it even came out of a Dell. And perhaps most importantly, there's no bad capacitors on this motherboard. So as long as this functions, which I haven't tested before making this video, as long as this functions, we'll be good to go. It'll effectively be the Dell. Well, it won't be a Dell, but it'll be the same specifications. Maybe we should... let's call it the Dell. Yeah. We're emulating a Dell, that's accurate. But before I start building this, and I do have some pretty nifty bits of hardware to slap in there, we have another P.O. box unboxing. You're good to go. You can giggle. All right. Don't panic, they say. More to come, sir. Thank you very much. Can I send you a PC to look at and give you money to ship back? Always. And this goes for anybody who sends stuff to the P.O. box. If you want stuff sent back, the only thing I require is make sure to send me a note saying you want it back, and either a prepaid return envelope or maybe talk with me beforehand and we can figure out return shipping. I couldn't afford to have 1,000 people send me something just to pay shipping back. I'd be broke after that. But let's see what we have been sent. We have... Is there a cooler in here? There is. We have some CPU thermal paste, some fan screws. Looks like some of this might be for a liquid cooling kit. And this is 2 gigs of DDR3. Actually, I think I know what this is going to go into. This looks like more cooler mounting hardware. I can see the base plate of something. Ooh, this is a power button. Hey, you know, I think that we have a use for this. In fact, we could use it on this as a little stand-in instead of using my knife. Thermal take. Okay. Does thermal take make the tough Air 110? They do. Okay, so this is all parts for that. Cooler back plates. Very, very nice, especially to have the instructions. That is huge. This looks like DDR2. See some HyperX. I was wrong. I think that's DDR3. Yeah, 2 gigs of DDR3. This, I think, is that DDR? Yeah, that's DDR3 actually. It is HyperX though. I don't have my knife with me, so I'll have to look at this later, but I really do like the HyperX colors, the soft blue, especially with the silver. Looks like we've got some laptop RAM. What is... That's not old. Oh, GT1030. Overclocks well, repasted, new fan... Oh, that is awesome. Dude, thank you. That is wicked. Laptop RAM, SODIMMs. Oop, that one's stuck. That's 4 gigs of DDR4. What is this one? This one's brand new. 4 gigs of something. Is that also DDR4? That's pretty cool. I just got some laptops in a previous P.O. box. I wonder if they could use an upgrade. Is that Deoxit? It is! Oh, that is wicked cool. Deoxit is really, really good for cleaning corrosion. And we have a Pentium 3 PC with some absolute disgusting gunk in the AGP slot. That's going to be useful for that. Holy cow, thank you. CPU Athlon 1150. Hold on a second. I do want this open. Oh dear. I don't have my knife. Do I have a screwdriver? I have a key. Oh, that's a lot of... Hold on. That's a lot of CPUs. What do we have here? Core i5 4690. That is really cool. I think that's the fastest i5 in the 4000 series. We have an Athlon 2. Oh, hold on a second. Looks like a Athlon 2 640. That is very nice. Got a couple of bent pins, but we can actually bend those back super easy. No worries there. Then we have a Core i5. Oh, it's another 4690. Hey, that's cool. I don't have a lot of 4000 series. And this is an i3 4360. Also wicked cool. I didn't have any i3s for the 4000 series. And another... Oh, it's a Phenom 2. Hold on a second. That is a Phenom 2. That's not a 5110, is it? How? I don't know the Phenom 2 part numbers, but that is really cool. That's going to be AM3 or AM3 Plus. It's got some weird goo in there, but we're going to try this. Not in this video, but that is cool. Thank you so very, very much. I think this is like a glasses case. I can use that. More cooler stuff. Oh, there's another CPU. And there's a flashlight that is on. I don't think that's supposed to be on. That's a headlamp. Oh, that's going to be useful. Oh, that's nice. Thank you very, very much. Not sure if it was supposed to be on, though. Now we have another i3. It's an i3 4170, slightly lower end than the other one, but still very, very good. Not just for testing, but the i3 is a fairly decently capable CPU. More stuff for the cooler. That's kind of beefy, actually. It's even got some support brackets here. Very nice. I appreciate that. Thank you. Next, we have a stock cooler. Looks like for LGA 11X. I'm not going to be able to recognize the spacing just by looking at it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's for. It's got one of those weird textured fan blades. I'm not sure why they do that. Supposedly it makes them quieter, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Oh, it's got a copper core. This could handle i7s. Sweet, thank you. We have a USB-C to USB-A adapter. I did not actually have one of those. That's pretty useful. An empty SD card case. I can use that, I think. Ooh, hold on. What? Is this an MS... Oh, Aorus. Oh, okay. Does MSI make Aorus? I think so. I think we actually have an Aorus motherboard somewhere. We could use that. I think I know which case that's going to go on. And finally, it looks like a wireless remote. That's cool. The 8-bit Doe. I'm pretty sure that I've heard of this on perhaps LGR. Recharges over USB-C. This is wicked. I don't think you understand how much use this is going to get. Thank you so, so much. I love the brick texture on that. Oh, that is sweet. I am torn between whether that or the GTX 1030 is the best thing in this box. That is amazing. Thank you for all this stuff. And with that, let's go ahead and build ourselves an underwhelming PC. The Dell. Okay, this should be just about everything we need for basic testing. Okay, let's see here. Get some thermal paste down. And as much as I hate these stock coolers, they do just work pretty well. So I'm not really pushing the limits of this either. Let's get this in here. That should be pretty good right there. Now I have two 256 meg sticks of DDR400. We're going to go ahead and look at this to see which ones are... No, they're not silk screened. Of course they're not silk screened. Okay then. Well, I really hope this board works. I've been hanging on to it for a long, long time. We want to reach parity with what he had at 2 gigs, but half a gig will do just fine for testing. Got a random Thermaltake power supply here. That's a 6-pin. We won't be using that for sure. Oh, this must be new. It's got a, well, new-ish compared to what we usually have, because it's got a CPU 8-pin. Nice. Get this plugged in. That's just a 20-pin, looks like. This board does not have onboard video. So we have this GeForce FX 5600, which is right about what we're looking for. Get that socketed in. And I do have a fan that I've added to this in the past, and here we go. Right in front we've got a fan header. Let's grab our VGA cable. And we've got this So let's see here. Power switch. Looks like those two there. We've got some bent pins on this front panel connector, but that should be fine. Power LED. Now we just need a power cable for all of this. Okay, in theory, did I have the power supply off? Okay. Now, do we get a screen? That would be wonderful. Huh. Let's try some different RAM. You know what? No, let's try the RAM in the other slots first. Survey says no. There is one more thing we could do. I just don't know. Here we go. Some of these boards do not like to post Let's see what we get. I really do think it needs to be in the blue slots first, but I want to see some sort of sign of life. So let's grab this, which is a Quadro FX 500, which is effectively a FX 5200, I believe. Oh. Okay. This is super handy to have. Someone else sent in one that's mighty similar, but I don't remember where I put it. So, of course, that was before I cleaned. Still nothing. We're going to move the RAM back to the blue, and we're only going to use one stick this time. Looks like that's another no. Okay. Let's take that 400 out and put in this 333. This is 512 megs. Could be the CPU as well. And at this point, that's what I'm starting to suspect, which sucks, but, well, it is what it is. Let's get this card out of here. I really hate these stock coolers. Oh, that didn't even latch properly. I might need a different cooler. Shoot. Let's see. Heading for 2.1. There's a 3.2. Don't think that one's going to work right away. Oh, this one's got all kinds of bad stuff in the pins. We're not going to bother with that one. That's a Celeron D anyway. Another 2.8. This one has a 533 megahertz front side bus, as opposed to the 800 that I was just using. So let's give this one a shot. try this cooler one more time. Okay, well, we've got this cooler on there. I didn't like it in the last build we tried to use it in, but this build, it doesn't seem to be causing that much of an issue. There's no board bending like last time. So, either there was a problem last time, or maybe I'm just dumb. Either way, I am dumb. I forgot to turn the power supply back on. Forgot to plug this fan in. Will we get the same behavior? Well, it's not turning back off, but we also don't have a screen. Okay. Pop that off. Go back to our FX 500. Okay. Power button here. It could be some sort of BIOS setting where it initializes PCI before AGP, but that doesn't make any sense because there's no onboard graphics on this board. Something isn't happy. This board might not work. Well, unfortunately, try as I might, I cannot get this thing to work. So I've got to find a different board. Not this one, but it's a VIA chipset, and we've experienced that in the past. Got this one as well, but it's also VIA. What's in there? That's not a Pentium 4. Shoot. Well, isn't this exactly the same one that I'm just using? I have two of these. I think they're both broken. I can't get this one to work, but this one's labeled bad. I mean, I can hope that the previous owner didn't know what they were doing. But, like, what do I do? This one was weird anyway, because the bottom's covered in duct tape. Like, look at this. It's like little bits of duct tape. And I don't know what they're for. I left them there. Like, what do I do? I'm gonna try the one that's labeled bad. Maybe I don't even know where I got these motherboards. Because all of my other motherboards are either the wrong chipset or broken, or they don't have AGP and I need AGP. So what a pain in the butt. Okay, I'm not expecting this to work based on the bad sticker, but what? Well, I know it's got light. The other one has light too. But the other one's doing this exact same thing. It's just not doing anything. Could be the capacitors, but none of them look bad. And I really don't want to just start replacing things. Shit. It's like, that was my whole video. Okay. Oh my god, I am not convinced I have a video. But we are going to try another one. This is my last Pentium 4 motherboard that has AGP and the correct chipset. I don't know about this. The chipset's got like a weird problem there. Now, I don't actually think this is going to work right away, because I can see some failed capacitors here. But at this point, I'll try anything. So, if this doesn't work, we're going to be forced to use a different chipset, which means different performance. But at this point, I'll take anything. I just need a little bit of success. Please. CPU fan. Now this here, this slot is for an extra VRM that gets you extra stages. That's for overclocking, which is super cool, but I don't have that. In fact, I've never been able to even find one. I've seen them occasionally on eBay as like past sold listings, but never for less than like $100. I cannot afford that. I've never gotten this motherboard to work, not once. So I don't think we're going to get it to work this time. But I gotta try, right? And as such, let's give it a shot. I forgot to put on my lapel microphone. Damn it. Okay. That should sound a little better now, at least. You know, growing pains. We'll figure this out. I'm not expecting this to work. Didn't think so. Okay. Well, I really don't want to use a VIA chipset. We can try some slower RAM, but again, I do not think that it's going to work. That's 400. There we go, something slower. Yeah, I didn't think this was going to work. I'm pretty sure those capacitors are preventing it from posting. But I can try this other slot. I really do not think this is going to work. Is this? Yeah, it wants the one closest to the CPU. Okay. This leaves us with two options on how to go about this. Kind of sucks because that's a this is a AGP Pro slot. Not that I have an AGP Pro card, but it would be cool to someday be able to get that to work. For now, that leaves us really with just two options. I don't really like either of them, but oh. Screwdriver. The two options we have are we go with a VIA chipset, or we bring out the big guns. Ooh. Forgot how heavy this was. I don't want to pinch my fingers. Ouch. Whew. Now this PC has actually been on the channel before. We picked this up late last year. Well, maybe not that late. Maybe around August, perhaps. Someone wanted like $100 for this thing, and they had no idea anything about it. So I talked them down to $20, and well, it's certainly a thing, and it's gotten quite dirty since I spent all that time cleaning it. Something spilled on the front, it looks like. Anyway, let's get you in closer and we will revisit the hardware that is inside. Okay. So what we have here, looks like we have a sound card. I don't know why I put a sound card in there. Does this not have onboard sound? It does not. Interesting. We have an Ethernet card. We have a modem, which I probably just left in there because it's in there. And we have some sort of AGP graphics card. I don't remember what that is, so let's find out real quick. Although I do suspect it's probably going to be an FX 5200. Get this. Oh, great. Okay. Is this stuck? It is. Okay. That really does look like a FX 5200. Well, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not what we want. So we're going to go ahead and set this to the side. And where did I set? There it is. What we want is this. This is an FX 5600 that I mentioned earlier. Let's get that in here. This does not. There we go. Now we need something for this. Do we have a fan header? Oh dear, we might not have a fan header. Shoot. Huh, okay. How much RAM do we have? Is this 2 gigs? Maybe? 1 gig of RAM. Okay, well let's at least get to parity with his PC and grab some additional memory. Got some sitting right here. Now this was graciously donated by someone. Thank you very much. And it should be a pretty straightforward upgrade. Although I'd like that to stay put. That should give us 2 gigs of RAM. Of course, we'll have to see if it posts. Now, we don't have an SSD. We just have a hard drive. But honestly, that's fine. It's Windows XP. We're not going for performance at this point. We're going for an actual time frame accurate PC. Let's get this secured. So our creation, the Dell, will have to wait for another time, unfortunately, but, well, we can still at least build something. Now, will it post with 2 gigs of RAM? Hey, I think we're good. I think this is a 128 meg, 256 meg. Okay, 256 meg FX 5600. Booting right into Windows XP. Now the driver that's installed on this system, if I recall correctly, should be natively compatible with the FX 5600. So I think we might not actually have to reinstall the driver. Oh, that's right. I tried to install the Voodoo Banshee at one point. FX 5600 XT is detected. Oh, I did this the old-fashioned way. I didn't use Snappy on this machine. Did I? Boy, I can't remember. Okay, so maybe building a custom PC to be a appropriate of the era PC wasn't really in the cards this time, but that's okay. We did end up with something that would have been roughly the exact same chipset, same amount of RAM, basically same CPU, only 140 megahertz faster I think this is pretty appropriate. The only major differences would be the fact that we have a more accurate video card for the era, and it's not a Dell, even though it might as well be, let's be honest. It's a gateway. So, anyway, this isn't the only thing that we're going to be trying that's new this time. I have this lovely VGA splitter, which, if anyone saw the last time I tried to use a VGA splitter, we ended up with a really dark, washed out image on the capture. This one's powered, so hopefully, with any luck, this will let us capture this footage while I use the PC. That would be nice. And without further ado, let's find out what a perfectly average gaming-ish PC of the era could actually do. Oh, I can't even get back here. Jesus. How am I supposed to... Oh. Okay. Yeah, this video did not turn out exactly how I thought it was going to turn out, but here we are. Yeah, I really wish this one would work, but I just got my finger full of thermal paste. Great. Yeah, this is a test setup. I haven't seen the footage yet. I don't know if it captured anything of note at all, but we're gonna hope. Yeah, this did not turn out how I thought. This is good enough to prove my point. It is of the era. An HD 3650 is most definitely not an appropriate of the era graphics card, but that's okay. That wasn't the point. Go check out his video. It's really cool. Super awesome getting Debian working on an old machine like that. I'm not brave enough to try that, not with modern Debian. Yeah, it's good stuff. I need to get this cleaned up pretty much immediately. My wife's about to be home. So, whew, okay. Yeah, thank you very, very much for watching. I hope this wasn't too much of a rambling, all over the place experience. I wasn't expecting to encounter 3 dead motherboards in a row and a whole bunch of other just not appropriate motherboards, not for what we're doing. So, yeah. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a like. Let me know if you want to see me try to put modern Linux on this. I don't know how much luck we're going to have with that because, yeah, this graphics card, the appropriate of the era graphics card, there's no support for that in modern Linux. There is none. It hasn't had proper support for over a decade at this point. Damn near 15 years. Yeah, so I don't know about that. I'll try if you want me to. But, anyway, yeah, let me know what you would have done different. And stick around, because I do intend to recap this motherboard. And probably the other ones as well. Although I have my suspicions that these Asus motherboards, they might just have bad BIOS chips. So, I don't know. I can't get any life out of them whatsoever. Maybe I'll pop one of these capacitors off and just test it. Just because they don't look bad doesn't mean they aren't bad. So, we'll see what happens there. Yeah. If you want to see behind the scenes videos and get regular updates on what I do, well, you can check out my Patreon, link down in the description below. I post all sorts of behind the scenes things there. Not always videos, but when I do videos, they're exclusive to paid members for a little bit, and then they get shuffled to the free members. So you don't have to give me money in order to see the exclusive behind the scenes videos. If you want to send me junk to help do stuff like this, well, my P.O. box is also in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. I have to clean before my wife comes home and beheads me.